Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 122. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm super happy to welcome you on my channel. And as you probably know, in this video we're going to have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities did we have, and what we can potentially expect for the upcoming week. So this week was actually pretty nice. Now I'm finishing positive, but I only traded on Wednesday and Friday. Very unfortunately, I missed the big moves on Monday and Tuesday. I just didn't get any entries, but of course, I learned some very important lessons this week, and I'm gonna try to share those with you. As always, I share just tips from my experience and from my trading during the weeks, and I really hope for all of you consistent guys that are watching, you're starting to kind of get all of those little pieces of the puzzle, bringing them together and starting to see some consistency, or just adding all of those amazing confluences to your trading. So first of all, I want to excuse myself because maybe the audio quality is not going to be the best. I took my microphone, but I forgot the cable for the microphone, and I'm just recording right now from the PC audio, so I really hope that is fine, right? But of course, if you are new to this channel, it's all about trading. I share this weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I give my best to share either a trade setups breakdown video or an educational piece of content. And I really want to start posting more on the psychological side of things, so let me know if you're actually excited for that, because I have a lot of journals, I have a lot of gathered knowledge about that, and I really want to put that somewhere together. So this is a little project that I'm going to embark on very soon, right? So before we start, also I want to say that I trade some cryptos, and I traded with cheddarforex.com. It is an amazing broker with great spread, but I picked the eco account. So for every trade I take, I pay commission, but for every lot that you trade, they take the commission and it goes towards planting 10 trees, all right? So I really think that's an amazing initiative, so make sure to check them out. Link will be down in the description. And if you already did, and of course if you already subscribed to this channel, let's head into the video. Alright, let's get started with the DXY. I, by the way, just re-listened to the recording of the intro and the audio is awful, but of course guys, content is what matters, so bear with me this week. So basically what we have right now is a confirmed high, because we can see for 3 weeks that the market stayed at the top right there, failed to continue with this bullish leg to the upside, and right now we're having an overall bearish week on the weekly, okay? So what we can do on this occasion is we can just drop our range, which starts from here to the high, and right now I do believe the DXY is in a pullback stage on the highest time frame that I use, which is the weekly, and before potentially tapping into 50%, or maybe just giving us a deeper pullback, and then to potentially continue trading to the upside. Of course, we still have some space to pull back down, so let's see how actually this week is going to play. If you remember, I constantly consider this little demand layer level, because this is like we pushed into the highs, we created a higher low, we had this big bearish candle, and then we very strongly impulsed outside. So for me, this is the higher low formation, and this is the demand level that I'm going to be utilizing to potentially start looking for longs on the DXY. So basically my first area will be as we tap the 50%, and as we tap this inside this demand area, I'm going to be dropping to a lower time frame to potentially look for the shift. Okay, this is daily. Weekly is bullish. Daily is starting to change the structure a little bit, which is of course fine, and that is normal. Okay, because if I go to the full hourly, the structure changed up there, and right now the daily started to change, but of course the weekly is still bullish. And this is where a lot of you potentially guys are getting confused, because one time frame is bullish, the other is bearish, the other one is bullish, and the other one is bearish. So you get confused. But my biggest tip right now is that the higher time frames are always going to prevail. Okay, so whatever the trend is on the weekly is going to prevail. Okay, so it's bullish, so we're currently in the pullback phase. Just because we have changed on the full hourly does not mean that we are gonna just drop to the floor, right? No. But of course, what we did this week is we identified that the market created this high right there, then it broke structure lower, then it pushed lower right there, and as you can see at the beginning of the week, we just pulled back. And I do believe that was a textbook 50% again. Even if we take it from the highs, you can see 50% was tapped just by a little bit. Maybe I have to do it correctly. There it is. We tapped, and another very nice impulsive leg to the downside. So this was a beautiful long trade on EU as well that I missed. And then of course what we have guys on the hourly time frame, which is my main time frame, is we have another push to the downside that broke structure, and we of course kind of start tapping into some levels on the left, but we have a brand new range. which is this one. And as you can see, once again, the market pulls back, taps into 50%. It almost came to tap inside this layer, it just kind of kissed it, which is of course fine. Then we initiated lower, and basically the difficult thing for me on Thursday and Friday was to determine, okay, so was this a break? So are we continuing bearish? Or is this a failure to break and are we going to go bullish? But as you can see, of course, we had this little supply level. I should maybe make them red. Okay, this was hard time frame supply like this. We respected this one and we pushed to the downside. And then, of course, we had some news. There were some very nice moves on Friday. I managed to catch a nice trade on Friday. And basically, where are we right now is we are almost tapping into this demand, building some little consolidation right there. So at the beginning of the week, what I would expect to happen, so basically this was just a little review of this week, had some nice bearish order flow, and that does not mean that we are absolutely bearish, okay? So daily, this is my first level for the daily that I'm going to be looking for longs, and if this doesn't work, of course, we have this little guy right here as well. So my expectations are, currently I'm seeing this kind of flat price action right there, this kind of flat bottom. So what I would expect to see this week is a move to the downside. Okay, I would really love to see a move to the downside on the 4-hourly time frame, and then to potentially see how the market will start responding from those levels right there. You can see just right here, we also have kind of a little 4-hourly candle. So we had that pullback, higher low, boom, massive higher high, we pull back, and then we just initiate very strongly to the upside. And as you can see, guys, I want you to pay attention to something else. I want you to look at the bullish moves, and I want you to look right now at the bearish moves, right? So have a look. You can also measure it from the bottom to the top. Maybe, yeah, let's say that this is the top. Yeah, it took around 39 days. So let's see how long it's going to take for the pullback. But this is not entirely correct that I do it like this on the 4-hourly. So let's not pay too much attention to that. But basically, what I'm looking for this week is for the market to push inside this level. And then from there, I'm going to drop to a lower time frame, wait for the shift, then to potentially take it higher. Of course, if we do not have any shift and if the market continues to trend lower, then of course I am all bearish, okay? Because as you can see right now, we're just breaking structure, we're making lower highs, and we're respecting the previous lower highs. So basically, we're going to be in a bearish trend as we tap inside. But then, of course, as we tap inside and as we tap the 50%, I'm going to start to reevaluate and to see if we can potentially have any bullish pressure, okay? So this is my analysis on the DXY. Let's see how it's going to play out, and make sure to tune in on Tuesday to see how actually the market developed on Monday and if we can strike on anything. Let's have a look at Euro USD. Again, starting on the weekly time frame. As you know, we are bearish right now on the weekly. We have broken structure to the downside. And of course, as I told you, also the hard time frames are always going to prevail. So again, I always point this to your attention, is that we're having a massive pump on the monthly, and right now we're kind of in a nice pullback. Okay, so basically where I want to see the euro come is inside 50% of this overall range, which is exactly right there, and we're pretty close to it. Okay, so basically I really want to see 1.14 get tapped, because there on the weekly we have this little range right, this little guy that is a very strong demand level that starts from 1.14, which is also a very key level. Okay, so like from the highest time frame I use, this is potentially where I want to see the market go. But right now we have made a push to the downside on the weekly. There is our weekly range. Let's be precise. There is our 50%. So this is potentially where I would like to see the market pull back into. Then dropping onto the daily, it's exactly the same situation as with the DXY. We have this candle right there. We can take the whole range. This is where the market kind of stopped, consolidated, and then very sharply initiated outside of this range. Okay, so this for me is a very strong level. And if we tap inside, I'm definitely going to start looking for shorts, because this is a really strong daily level. Okay, and as you can see, of course, we're going to change the structure as we travel towards that level, but that does not mean that we have turned completely bullish on this market. Then dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame, it's been a very nice delivery on EU. So basically, if you remember, like we had the market start pushing from here, ended there, we tapped 50% on the 18th, and we just very nicely expanded to the upside, and there was a lovely long right there. And I really regret not trading on Monday, or just not setting an order and forgetting about it. Then of course we had another push to the upside, so we have a brand new range. There it is. We tapped into 50% right there. We initiated higher. We failed to break higher, which was something that really made me kind of think, okay, are we going to actually pull back even deeper? Or is the market just going to give me a little pullback and then potentially to break the high? But what we have right now and how the market ends the week is with a consolidation. which of course is really nice because the consolidation is always nice because this is building up kind of orders. People are long, people are short right now. They have their stop losses. So we can definitely have like something like this. A nice pump into the highs into this level and then to potentially see a very nice reversal. So this is basically what I would expect. My analysis on EU is always simple. So right now, oops, if I delete this, right now we are still bullish, to be honest, and I was trying to long it from here. I'm not sure if I did. Basically, this was my level that was holding. We pushed, we pulled back, so we're kind of consolidating. So what I really want to see is a continuation to the upside. So I would appreciate if EU just maybe gives me a little tap, maybe a little pullback, and then just continues to push higher. And maybe on Tuesday or on Wednesday, I would really love if I can see EU into this area. Because if we see EU on Tuesday or Wednesday inside this area, this means that we can potentially be creating the weekly high, and then we can start seeing the move to the downside. Exactly the same thing that we expect with the DXY. Okay, so very simple analysis, nothing too much to say. I do expect this high to get taken because we're in this push pullback, so this high should get taken to grab even more orders to the upside, and then potentially we shall reverse to the downside. Well, of course, let's see. Okay, so right now I want to show you a couple of trades that I took, as my analysis is always very simple. I want to show you basically only the 2 trading days that I traded. But the first trade was basically from right here. This was a lovely long trade, so I'm not really sure why I didn't take it. I think because I tried to trade the 1 minute again, and I did not pay attention to like the hard time frames. So what I did is, again, on the 15 minute, as we tapped inside the level on the left, the market gave me a consolidation, faked the consolidation, and a massive expansion outside that also, yeah, it didn't break with a body close, it just wicked above it, but for me this could still be an invalidation. So what we just later did is we just pulled back into 50%, into discount right there, and then we just continued to expand to the upside, right? But what I did right there is I believe I was looking for a lower time frame entry. So as you can see, like we pulled back to the downside, and the market was still bearish for me at this point. Like we had a massive pump lower, we pulled back, we respected this, so this is a lower high again, lower high again, lower high was created right there. So then the market pulled back for a potential lower high, failed to break structure, creating the MSS formation, and then we impulsed into the highs. So what I did is I set my order right here. So I wanted to enter from there. I had my order right here. Stop loss was below, but the market just left without me. And then I did not really persist to try to trade it because then we, of course, had a couple of other opportunities to look for. Basically, those are the 2 that I looked at. So the first one is basically when the market pushed, created a base, created a rally. Then we pull back very nicely into this. We created this big sell-off. Then we bought. This is really flat price action. So this is supposed to be taken out first. And then, of course, we pushed into this level and we reacted very strongly to the upside. So basically, Monday was a big mover. And I have found that, again, it doesn't matter what the day is. If you see your setups, just trade it. And of course, do not try to get all of those because, yes, my entry criteria is, of course, on the 1 minute. But sometimes you just have to take the trades on the 15 or on a higher time frame and just make sure you are involved, right? Because as you can see, I missed out on 2 beautiful moves by trying to catch a tight entry, okay? So then basically, as I told you, the next day we have this big pump to the upside, and then we respect this little level right there. So I start dropping to a lower time frame. So basically, there is the trade. I was taking hedges right there, and my bias was long. And then again, another mistake. So have a look, guys. So the market taps inside, and I start looking for longs. But for me, I was seeing that this was way too bearish to the downside. The Asian range also, it was very trending. Then we had a very nice sharp push to the downside that broke the Asian range. So this one to me did not really look like manipulation. It looked like a reversal to the downside. So this is why I kind of hedged my position. I made sure that I'm in both positions, but of course at the end, they didn't work out and I missed out on this beautiful long, and I'm gonna tell you why. So what I did is I saw this massive dump to the downside and then a really complex correction. So I was like, the sellers are still in control. Okay, so what I did is I waited for the market to tap inside this level right here, which is a 5-minute level, or on the 1 minute we have this buy, sell, the market comes in, and then I just wait for a shift of structure. There is my break of the higher low. I enter from right here. So this is basically my first trade. Stop loss 2.5 pips above. And I said, okay, so I'm just gonna let this one run. And if it runs, cool, it runs. But then I had to limit right here, which is my second trade, and this was based on, I think, on a higher time frame. Basically, yes, I wanted to enter from this 3-minute, and for me, if this one was a higher low, this pullback, a higher low, and this one was a higher high, the market should pull back, hold the higher low, and then continue to push higher for a new higher high. Okay, so what I did is I was in a short trade and I was then in a long trade from here. So what I did is, as the market started to push away, is I went break even on this trade right there, and I was like, cool, let's see how the long is gonna go. But then what I saw is that the market continued to respect this level right here, basically, and it was starting to get really flat. It didn't stop me out of break even, and then I saw the market start pushing down. It reacted right here, and after this reaction, I went break even because I said, okay, cool. Well, if this level is gonna hold, I don't want to see it go lower. So I went also break even on this trade right here. So what I had is 2 break even trades. All right, it was good, all good. Then I continued to persist. Okay, I'm like, cool. Okay, let's see where we can catch an entry. The market continued a little bit bearish. Then we had this push to the downside, pullback, still lower high. We had the sell and then a big buy. Very nice. Then what I do is I set my order right here for longs, but then the market runs away from me. Okay. And then what I also spotted later is that we had a new, where is it? A new 15-minute break of structure. Okay, so if I delete all of those trades right here, oops, delete, what do we have is a new higher low. The market created a push, pullback. This was a lower high. The market was supposed to break the low, but it didn't. So it created the MSS formation. There it is, right here, push, pullback. So what I should have done is just place a buy, stop loss below, and take profit for a new higher high, which was supposed to be the new target, right? And this is 10-hour trade. But what I did is I went to the 1 minute, of course, to look for my entry opportunity. And I was looking for a clear break of structure. There, bears are still in control, lower high, lower low. This was not a higher high. Then we pushed lower and then we broke. So then what I did is I was looking for a pullback to get involved, but the market never gave it. And we just massively impulsed to the upside, okay? So this was my Wednesday. Again, you can see on Monday, I missed. On Tuesday, I'm not sure what I did. Wednesday, 2 break-even trades. So of course, a lot of lessons to be learned. And of course, guys, I'm showing you the real process and my real trades. It does not make sense to me to tell you, well, I entered this trade right here and I made a 1 to 50, which is what the majority of people do. This channel is all about transparency, okay? And then basically on Friday, I was like, okay, cool, I'm still break even for the week. I'm pretty fine. I should be looking to strike. So the thing on Friday was it was slightly bit tricky because the market responded from this level, but then failed to break the high. So I was starting to feel like we might actually give a deeper pullback to the downside. And what I was seeing on the 15-minute is that we very nicely started to change down. And we had like this push, pullback, lower high, lower low, big mess. I think this was the Thursday mess. This is why I didn't trade on Thursday. And then we had a massive pump to the downside. And basically for me, this was the level that initiated all of those sellers. So as we come inside this level, I started looking for shorts, okay? Basically, later the market went to tap inside this level, which would have been a lovely long, but this is with the news, so it was definitely not worth it. So as the market taps inside this level, I start looking for shorts and I jump to my lower time frames. And again, guys, it's all simple market structure. I can teach you how to kill the market with just simple market structure. The market makes a higher high, pulls back. This is still a higher low, pull back, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So this for me was enough to basically determine that the market was shifting the direction. I could have entered from here as well, but this was slightly bit aggressive. And my biggest mistake on this one was I was too greedy with my stop loss. So I entered from right here. You can see the entry. Stop loss was right there, 2.4 pips. I could have done this, okay, but it becomes 4. And nowadays I trade from 2.5 to 3.5 pips. This is my plan. This is how I trade currently. And as you can see, it has a lot of disadvantages. You tend to miss a lot of trades, but of course, once you nail a trade, it's really good, okay? So this was a stop loss. And of course, the high was protected, but my stop loss was below it because I was like, okay, this one is a lower high. This one is a lower high. So they should not be broken, but they just got taken out. And then we reversed to the downside. However, then the market came back. So if I had a stop loss above, I would have been break even because at that point I would have been break even. But then what I spot is that, okay, so if the market basically, this was a 15-minute leg right here from the low to the high. We pulled back into 50%. So I was like, okay, cool. So if the market is bullish, it has to create a higher high. But then I was seeing it failed here, pushed lower, then it pushed higher. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe we're going right now. And I was monitoring this demand level. The market responded from the demand, but failed to make a high, right? And it made a low. So I'm like, all right, we are ready for a short. So I got immediately ready and I executed from right here. And stop loss 2.5 pips, which is a stop loss that I use. I didn't want to place a tight stop loss on this one because it didn't make sense. Again, I even wanted to place it above the high, but again, I did that mistake right here. And I know from backtest that it usually works. So I placed it 2.5 and my TP was at the low, which is the 15-minute demand. So that was a very nice 6-hour trade. So this is basically, I took -1. This is +6. So I am 5R for the week and a couple of break evens in commissions. So maybe around 4 point something when I count commissions. And yeah, basically then we went into the highs, proper EU manipulation play, taking out the lows, taking out the highs, and then rushing for the lows again. Okay, as you can see, like we had this low, we had this high, high is taken, low is taken, and then we continue to range into the middle. So this is proper EU price action. Okay, so guys, I hope you got some value from those trades. I don't want to keep it too long. So the analysis on EU is simple, and I would really recommend that you tune in on Tuesday on my Telegram channel to watch also my Tuesday morning outlook. The link is down in the description. Let's have a look at EJ. The JPYs have been really interesting. So after a massive pump to the upside, right now we're having this indecision candle right there, which is pretty much a bearish one. Okay, so we really reached for the highs and we very strongly rejected down. So this is giving us some very nice clues right there. But again, if the market is supposed to go bullish, basically this leg right there is not entirely correct because this push to the upside did not make a high. Okay, and basically what I showed you in the previous outlook, if you remember, is that there was this level that I marked. So we tapped inside it and we very nicely started to react. But if you just have a look on the daily, it is just bullish. All right, let's not try to fight this. This is, guys, a lot of days. This is a lot of days of bullishness, like 2 weeks of bullish price action. So this is definitely bullish. Okay, so right now, basically, also from the bottom, we're having the shift. So basically, the market failed to make a new low, shifted right there, massive expansion to the upside. Usually where I would love to see the price come is right here, but this could be a little bit too deep. So also I want to pay attention to what is right here in the middle. So let's drop to the 4 hourly. And as you can see, just around the 50%, we're having like a massive pump. We consolidate it for a little bit, and then we have another massive pump. Okay, so basically what I'm going to tell you right now on EJ is that I am kind of short biased right now because just understanding the higher time frames, we have reached into the highs very strongly, and right now we are in a pullback phase. I can say that I'm a master in EU and I know how EU moves, and usually EU is going to give us a pullback, but EJ maybe I haven't back tested it, maybe it likes to pull back to the 38.2. Okay, but we still are not there, so let's see what we can do. Going to the 4 hourly time frame, what you can see is simple structure. We have a high, we have a pullback, not really a lower low yet. Then we have a push to the upside, failed to break the high, MSS formation, lower low. Simple. Okay, so right now we are bearish. Our lower high was right here, which was not really retested at first. We push lower, we pull back, and we push lower again. Okay, so we have another break of structure, whereas our new lower high is right here. All right, so how I'm gonna approach this pair, if this was basically, let's say Monday and I'm getting onto Tuesday, I'm gonna be looking for the market to pull back inside this area, reject, and then I'm gonna be looking for shorts into this level. Okay, and of course, this is how I'm gonna approach it on Monday as well. I really like the bearish price right there. I really like how it changed from the top. You can see how it formed this high, pushed away, pulled back, failed to break, push, pull back, push, pull back. Basically, you can see right here that this was also lower high. It wasn't this, it was that, push, pull back, and right now again lower low. So basically, very simple analysis. I'm looking for the market to pull back inside this level, potentially reject, see my entry opportunities on the lower time frames, and then I'm gonna take it lower into 131,200 around this area. And then from there, I'm gonna start getting mindful because we can start seeing some reversal signs as well. Okay, because maybe the JPY is gonna get weak again and start pumping up. But of course, let's see how it's gonna play. Currently, I am short bias, but never forget what the higher time frame is, and it's bullish. But the only thing that we need is a little pullback, probably even around the 38.2. So also be aware, potentially start taking profits a little bit higher if you manage to nail a short trade. Okay, so let's see how this one is gonna go. All right, let's have a look at the Aussies. So starting from AU, kind of difficult week on this one. We have been bullish for quite some time, and it's been slightly hard to catch a nice opportunity on this one. But basically, guys, the target was this high, and we have achieved the target even earlier in the week. Okay, so basically, we could say that this is a hard high, and I'm gonna drop to the daily to confirm that. And as you can see, Monday just pulled back a little bit, and then we just smashed that high. So targets achieved, really nice. And if you remember, we've been speaking about AU longs since the market was pulling back right down there. Then as we shifted the structure right here on the 4-hourly time frame, the target was up there, so target is achieved. So what we have right now is we have to wait for the actual range to be created. When is the range going to be created? Is when we start having some pullback. Okay, so this is not done yet. So possibly I'm going to go and focus on the 4-hourly time frame to see what is happening right there. Because you can see what I also mentioned to my team is I don't like this price action right here. Why? Because we have a push, one candle of pullback, one candle of push, two candles of pullback, one candle of push, two candles of pullback, right? I don't like this. It's not clear delivery like that. It's just like this, which usually signifies is that the market is getting consolidated at the top and we're about to see a reversal, which is basically, I also call this one, I think, which is basically what happened. All of a sudden, we kind of tapped inside the highs right there, and then we reversed lower. So on the 4-hourly, it's slightly tricky right now to determine, okay, where is our higher low? Well, basically, this was it right here. And also we had one there, which is clearly seen on the hourly. So we pushed structure lower, we pulled back right now. So basically, I do expect for this market to start pulling back a little bit, okay? My first level will be this one, because this is a nice sell. This is the clearest higher low, to be honest, and I think this is also a daily candle right there. So this is where I would look for the market to potentially give me a pullback. But on the 4-hourly time frame, where are our levels? Well, it's slightly harder, isn't it? Because we also failed to break structure right there. So this is not a confirmed high. But of course, this is where I would potentially be looking to sell this market because it's the only level that makes sense. On the hourly time frame, if we just follow the structure as well, like we had the market push, pull back, very nice push to the upside, and then a very sharp drop lower. Then we pull back, we drop lower again. Then we start a little pullback and it looks like we change the structure. It looks like we break right here. But if we break this structure, what is the higher low that broke that structure? Well, it's this one. And this one right now is broken again. So as you can see, we turn bullish, then we turn bearish. Slightly tricky to trade AU this week. But of course, I am looking for shorts. I do think this should have been the high after we broke that weekly high as well. And right now we're potentially in this pullback stage towards a stronger demand level from where we can potentially start looking for longs again. Okay, so maybe we can have a push down, then a pullback, and then a continuation lower. And then the second scenario will be an immediate push into the highs, rejection, and then a push lower. So I am bearish on the Aussies going into Monday, but of course, let's see how are they going to play. And as you can see also, AJ, after it took the high, we see a massive reaction. So I can already say that possibly this weekly leg is over. Dropping onto the daily, this is really huge, guys. So again, as I said, I really hope some of you managed to capitalize on this big move. And there was very hard to analyze it on the previous week, but right now we have some data to work with, okay? So this is the last kind of demand that is clear, but we started really to change structure. So again, we had a push, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, break, okay? We had this little base created, and that base was respected. And unlike AU, AJ has broken structure to the downside, which is really significant, okay? So what potentially I'm going to expect is maybe we're going to tap into the demand, respond, give us a pullback, create a lower high, and then continue to plunge to the downside. Because my overall outlook on those pairs is bearish, and I do think they need a slightly deeper pullback. Because again, on the daily, on the weekly, we are slightly extended, and usually those pairs are going to pull back a little bit, maybe to the 38.2. The 38.2 also resonates with this little range, right there, this little base. So that could be a potential target where we could look for TPs, okay? So this is my analysis on the AUs. Okay, I am bearish. I'm looking for a pullback to the upside to potentially engage into shorts. Let's see how it's going to play out, and stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis on Telegram. Let's have a brief look at the NZDs. So again, as expected, we have taken out this high, which is amazing. We had a push, a pullback, higher low created. Right now we have a higher high. The weekly didn't really close above it, but as it faked really nicely above it, I can consider this definitely a break. So what we have right now is a daily range pullback. Yeah, it's slightly tricky to decide if I'm going to take this week or that week. So let's just take it. And currently, what again are the expectations is to get a pullback, okay? And as you can see, like we created this high, then we push lower, we pull back, and right now we are having a lower low right there. So that is really good, because what I'm gonna do is mark this as my lower high formation, and I'm gonna be looking for the market to get somewhere around 50% right here. What I can see is that we have a nice level right there to potentially target. So basically, right now we're starting to counter trend trade, both the Aussies and the NZDs. Because again, we reached the high, we were pushing very nicely, then we created this high, pulls back, lower high, lower low, lower high, which kind of again broke this one, but then we broke lower as well. So for me, this one is a confirmed lower high. So what I'm going to be looking for, again, on market open, is for the market to get inside, reject, show me a lower time frame signal, and then I'm going to be looking to short it. So that is NZUSD, pretty similar to the Aussie. And also NJ is even weaker than NU. So on this one, if I just quickly look on the weekly, wow, this is just insane. Like, look at that candle right there. This is huge. So yeah, basically, we're having right now a weekly range. So we should be starting to pull back daily, 2 bearish candles. On the hourly, we're starting to change structure, which is really nice. We have a similar level right here that could serve as potential profit taking, but still I would maybe expect a bigger pullback, but we never know. With counter trend trading, we never know when it's gonna end, so we have to be really careful, okay? But the market created a higher low right there. We created a higher high, and then we just broke below, which is a very simple structure shift, right? Then we gave a little pullback. It wasn't really extreme, but it was 50%, which is more than enough, and we made a lower low right now, which is very good to see. So where is our lower high? It's right here. As simple as possible, right? So what I'm going to be waiting for on this one is again to potentially push into this high, create a lower high, show me lower time frame signal, and then to potentially take a short. What could be the other case is that we might first tap into demand, then we might see some reversal, then we might tap into supply again and continue to drop lower. And I'm more looking for shorts simply because I think it's a bit extended and we shall see a little bit of a pullback. But again, I cannot predict what's going to happen. I'm just going to react. So if the market holds right there and then it just breaks structure up and I take a short stop loss, then I'm going to be looking for a pullback and then I'm going to have a win to the upside. Okay. As I always say in my videos, guys, it's all about flowing, not about predicting, not about bragging about your analysis that it played out. If you don't execute or if you fail to flow with the market and really see what is happening right now, yeah, you're doomed. So those are the NZDs, overall bearish, very similar to the Aussies. So let's see how those two kind of currency pairs are gonna open. As you know, USD/JPY is the driver of the JPYs. And if we start having pullback on this one, it's really good because all those JPYs that we just covered are also gonna start the pullback. So basically, we're having a nice move into the highs. And right now, we should be expecting a pullback down, okay? So currently, the market is encountering this daily demands, right? And if this one breaks, this is gonna expose all the way 1150, okay? 11150. So this is where I would eventually want to see the price come inside. On the hourly time frame, you can see that we had this high right there, very nice push. Then basically the demand that created this was this one. And what I really love about this delivery is that we tapped inside, we reacted from it, and then we broke structure lower. So for me, this is a absolutely textbook shift. Okay, and then basically this creates a lower high formation right here. The market almost came inside, it failed to actually tap inside, and right now we're having a lower low that is just tapping into this demand. And as you can see, if you remember from the previous JPYs, some of them are also tapping into some sort of demand levels. And I told you that they might tap into demand, they might give you a reaction, but that reaction is just going to create a lower high. Okay, so currently my lower high candle is this one. So this is where I would eventually look for the shorts, okay? And let's see how it's gonna play. Currently, you can see push down, pull back, push down, it's starting to look really bearish, which is very nice. So very simple, guys. I'm going to be looking for a pullback, lower high formation, and a push to the downside. Keep in mind your range, drop your range 50%. As it taps above 50%, you can use the normal FIP as well. It's always really good. What? Why this is in the reverse? Yeah, but basically 61.8 will be somewhere right here. So it's really good to also wait for this. Why does it drop like this? Okay, there it is. Very nice. So around these areas right there, it would be nice to look for shorts. So let's see if it's actually going to play like this. And if it does, then all the JPYs are also going to flush, which will be very, very nice to see. Let's have a look at the GBP, starting from GU. So this pair has been slightly tricky to trade because for me, I struggle a little bit with identifying the higher time frame, the real higher time frame direction. Okay, because let me confuse a little bit. If you drop to the monthly time frame, there was this leg that started from here and it ended there, and we pulled back into the 50%, and we're already seeing how the month it's starting to look a little bit bullish, doesn't it? And it really looks like we're gonna go for a new high on the monthly. Okay, then I drop to the weekly, and what we have is bearish price action, right? So this one right here created a lower low, and right now we're in this pullback phase, and it really looks like that the market is gonna respect like this big area right here and create a new lower low. Okay, and then it dropped on the daily, and the daily is bullish, right? So we pushed into the downside, we pulled back, we failed to break lower, and right now we're expanding to the upside. So the daily looked bullish. And if I drop to the hourly, yeah, okay, the hourly this week was pretty bullish. Okay, so this is the hardest part because sometimes the confusion between those time frames is getting a little bit too much. So let's try to actually break it down. So the weekly time frame is basically bearish, yes, but as I always tell you, the highest time frame is gonna prevail. So maybe this is our play. Okay, but first of all, we have to see how the market starts to shift from the lower time frames. And what I really like about the daily is that we have this push down, a pullback, and a very sharp move to the downside. So this for me was a really strong supply. We tapped inside, we tapped inside, we tapped inside, and then we just reversed to the upside. Okay, so this for me is the first failure of supply, and if the first supply fails, then potentially this is going to expose all the upper ones. Okay, so currently the market is, yes, tapping inside. Let's take this big wick. The market is tapping inside this little level right there. Does that mean that we're going to plummet to the downside? Well, I don't really think so. Okay, monthly is bullish, daily is bullish, and hourly is also bullish. Okay, so if I try to see where is my daily move, well, this candle is not really nice because it kind of interrupts the sequence, but the move started from the bottom to the top. There is 50%. Let's see what we have right here. Yes, so as you can see, this was the first level that we wanted to see tap, but then the market created this little guy right there, which again, it's interrupted the sequence, right? And then we very sharply impulse into the high. So this right here turns into our higher low. Okay, so basically you can see that I'm more bullish right now than bearish on GU, but to be extremely honest with you guys, I am not 100% sure. And I do not trade GU a lot right now because simply I struggle to identify the real direction. If we have a look on the hourly time frame, like it kind of, yeah, it faked a little bit above the high, and right now we're seeing a little bit of a reversal, but it's too sloppy. It more or less looks like a consolidation. Okay, we push into the highs. That was a pullback, a potential long. We push into the highs. We already pulled back into this range. So have a look. We pull back into 50%. We tap inside. So the long was here, but did the long made a higher high? Not really. Okay, so if you potentially right now fake below this level, it's starting to look a little bit bearish. So what I want to say is that maybe short term, we can take a little sell from right here, okay, like this, take it into the lows below 50%, and then from there try to see if we can actually have any longs. Okay, so this is kind of the setup that I have right now. But again, being extremely honest with you, I am not sure what GU is going to do. Okay, but currently, if this was again Monday and I'm looking at Tuesday and I see this kind of price action right there, I'm gonna be short, and I'm gonna be looking for the market to pull back into this level, into discount, into cheap prices, and then to potentially see it go higher. Because right now we're reacting from this really strong supply right here. But if all of those also failed, so this one failed, this one failed, this one failed, this high is also gonna fail eventually, probably. Okay, so let's see how it's gonna play. I would suggest that you give GU some time, Currently it's shorts. Let's see how it's gonna play. If it pulls back right there, maybe we can look for shorts, take it to the downside, and then from there start to monitor how it's gonna shift. Okay, so let's give it some time. And of course, I'm gonna give you an update on Tuesday to see how Monday opened, and then potentially during the week I can also share some setups on TradingView. So make sure you're subscribed because I share from time to time some setups right there that I'm about to take. Okay, so if we have a look at GJ, and as we know that the USD JPY is initiating a pullback, and that is gonna drive all the JPYs to also initiate a pullback. So that looks really good. Dropping onto the daily, we can see that we had this push, one candle stop, higher high, and right now we have broken below this one. So this is also starting to look a little bit bearish, like GU, but of course, does that mean that it's long-term bearish? No, we just need a bigger pullback. And right now, what I really like about this one is that we have changed the structure. So we made the shift right there, push lower, pullback, shift, break of structure lower right here as well, lower low, lower high, lower low. So where is our lower high right now? I'm gonna take it like this, okay? So basically what I want to see is very similar to all the JPYs. I need to see a pullback, lower high formation, and a potential continuation lower. Where can the market stop? This is out of my power. I do not trade with the institutions. Nobody does. Whoever says he's an institutional trader, fine. But yes, we never know when the market is gonna stop. Okay, so basically I have that little level right there that could potentially react. What we could also have is a tap inside this level, then a potential pullback, and then a potential continuation to the downside as well. And this really depends also on the overall GBP, strength or weakness, and the JPY. So if UJ really continues to go down, then all the JPYs will be taken with it. Okay, so this is my analysis on GJ. Very simple, looking for that pullback, lower high, and a continuation lower. GA, I want to brag with this one because I never get this pair right, but on Tuesday, I got it right. So I said that I was doing the analysis right there. It's around 8 o'clock. The market broke lower, created this range, pulled back, and it reversed. So guys, I hope you managed to capitalize on GA. I'm just joking. So let's maybe drop to the weekly time frame. A very strong weekly candle, which is pretty bearish. On the daily, we are still bearish. 4 hourly, it's starting to get a little bit tricky. So let's maybe try to examine this price. We broke the low, we pulled back. Right now, we haven't broken the high. This is a structure that was formed, and it comes from this supply. Okay, there we go. Okay, so basically, the market is bearish. We tapped inside this level, so what is the market supposed to do is a new lower low. So if we fail to make a new lower low, and right now if we have a higher high, then I'm going to look for buys. But currently we are bearish, so if we continue to break lower, maybe on Monday, then I'm going to be looking for a pullback, lower high, and a continuation lower. Okay, there is it. Two scenarios, because again, keep in mind we're sitting in this very strong weekly or daily level. I'm not sure what it is. There it is. And it was perfectly tapped into 50%. We had a nice reaction. So right now we're in this kind of shift. So if the shift occurs, then potentially we can see the market push up. And that means that AU should push down. And if we expect AU to push down, which we do, then potentially we can have some buys on GA. So let's see how this one is also going to play. But give it some time first. Euro GBP. This is the worst pair of all. Swing high, swing low. On the 4-hourly time frame, it created this kind of lower high. It pushed lower, it pulled back into 50%, dropped lower, and then all week it's been ranging. On Friday, we started a bullish move right there. I'm not sure why, but I just don't know how to read this one right now. I really hate this kind of flat price action. This for me should get taken because it's way too flat. It's not a strong low. And as you can see, if we have flat price action like this, as we have right there, it gets taken. So let's see maybe how it's going to respond from this level, which is still technically the lower high. Okay, let's see maybe if we have some hourly shift or maybe 15-minute shift, we can definitely look for shorts right there because it's a strong level. And then from there, I'm just going to readjust and see how it's going to go. But to tell you, I never trade this pair. It's not a nice pair. It's a combination of EU and GU. And most of the times it's just ranging, then it does 2 big moves and then it keeps ranging again. So let's see. But this is how I'm gonna approach it. And basically, guys, those are the GBPs. So let's see, overall kind of bearish sentiment, bullish, it's not very clear. So of course, let's give them some time and strike only when we are 100% certain of our analysis. Let's have a quick look on gold. We're having an overall bullish weekly candle. right there. So I'm not really sure how to read this, because this was the supply on the daily. We responded from the supply, but then as I told you guys, we had to see if this lower high, if this is going to be a lower high. So what I told you the previous week is we were responding from this demand, but all I needed to see is a pullback, hold, and then a potential continuation. But what happens right now is potentially we see a bullish flow, okay? But just the way that gold moves is, I don't like it, and this is why I don't trade gold at all, okay? Like, it's all of a sudden it's just like slow, then it just starts to move up. Like, we have a big push up, a big push down right now. So I currently struggle to identify, okay, which is my major structure? What should I be looking for? Okay, it looks like it broke structure higher on the 4-hourly time frame right there. What is the structure that broke this high? It's this one, okay? And we already tapped inside, we already reacted. So let's see if we're gonna stay above. If in the beginning of the week we break below, then potentially we can continue with the overall short bias, okay? Keep a look at the DXY, because they're pretty much oppositely correlated, okay? Where did this spike go? Why is this spike reacting from here? Drop a rectangle and go on the left. Go and examine what is right there. What is right here? Maybe it's something on the hour, okay? And it's basically this little wick right there, probably, that wasn't tapped at first, because you can see this wick was formed, which was a lower high. We just kissed it right there, and then we reversed lower. So right now the market actually went again inside this one and very sharply reacts. But does that mean that we're going to reverse? Well, we shall see at the beginning of the week. Let's see if this low right here is going to hold. If it holds, yes, we are going to be bullish. But if it breaks, then potentially I'm going to start shifting to bears, okay? So this is my brief analysis on gold. Let me know what you guys think. But I'm just going to give it some time to really determine where it wants to go. Indices and cryptos are looking as green as ever, which is not really a good thing because we have inflation worries. We have a lot of things that are kind of in the overbought condition. So very soon I'm expecting a deeper correction. So we're having some pretty healthy corrections. I was buying S&P and other indices from down there. It's really good, and I've been calling this all-time high. There it is, guys. This has been for a couple of weeks already. After I told you that supply has failed, we pulled back. There is your respected level. Beautiful long from right here on the 13th, and then we continue to go higher. So the analysis is playing out spot on. And this week we just opened and we just continued to push higher. There wasn't any pullback. Right now US30 is at the all-time highs, already making them. So what we should expect is a pullback. Okay, where to? Well, this is still my level. This is where I want to see the market pull back to. There is nothing else that makes too much sense. So there is nothing too much that I can analyze right now. So I just let it go right now. And potentially if I have a dip right there, this could be another nice long. But start having a little bit second thoughts, guys, because everything looks too bullish. And pretty soon we might actually start seeing a little bit of a crash. Okay. NASDAQ also failed the supply. Right here, as I told you, we failed this one. We broke the structure on the 4-hourly. We pulled back, beautiful respect. And then we started pushing higher. And this one is already invalidated. Okay, so this level still remains for me right here. And let's see if we're actually going to have a little pullback this week on US30, on NASDAQ, and on S&P. Okay, so same analysis remains. I'm looking for this level to potentially take longs and then eventually target the highs. The highs is going to be the target. So let's see if this is going to be achieved. But nothing too much of a development. This was a little level that was formed right there, but I think this is too much in the middle, so I did not consider this one to be significant. And it's also above 50%, so no, I'm not going to be considering it at all. With indices, you have to look for deep discounts in order to buy them, okay? And S&P, which is my best boy, made all-time highs. I bought it from down there, which I'm pretty happy with it. And yes, so currently I just continue buying until it reverses. New all-time highs were just created as well. So on this one, I am still looking for that deeper pullback. This one is also a very nice level, but it's not worth it for me to buy. Okay, the range started from here. 50% is right there. This is above 50, so it is not a nice place to be. Well, okay, so I'm looking for a deeper pullback on this one. Bitcoin sold some holdings, all-time highs. Congratulations, guys. I sold them. I'm not sure exactly where, but I've been just swinging Bitcoin. I hold it from, I'm not sure from where, I think from right here. So this is pretty good profit for me. Of course, I don't own one or two Bitcoins. It's half, but it's still good profit. And as I told you, like I also was joking to my team, I make more money from crypto nowadays than in Forex, right? It's very funny. But right now, as we created the all-time highs, as we took the liquidity and the orders above, we immediately start seeing the pullback. So it's really hard right now to determine what kind of pullback are we gonna have, because we have a big weekly move, okay? We started from there. Usually Bitcoin is going to give us a deep pullback and 50% is right there. So I'm really looking forward to 48K, okay? So I'm not buying it pretty soon. Of course, I still have holdings because I have an amazing strategy that I developed for myself on how to swing crypto. And yeah, I just profit on the moves. I take big profits and I left the remaining to run. And then I stack more as it drops lower. But of course, if it continues higher, I'm still involved with the market. So Bitcoin, I took profits on this one, all-time highs, looking for a deeper pullback, potentially into 50K. Okay, I'm not going to be buying anywhere above this 50%. Okay, and Ethereum, I bought my Ethereum at 29 right there, so that's at 39. I know, where did I sell it? Yeah, I wasn't waiting for where did I sell it? No, I sold it at 43. There it is, 43. Right here. I was seeing it approaching all-time highs and I just took my profits at 43 right there. Almost reach out and already in a pullback, and I'm holding it since 29 right here. So very good delivery, very good. So right now actually I can start adjusting my analysis because all of that stuff is no longer relevant. Okay, what is relevant for me right now is the new weekly move that started from here. It's possibly gonna end there, and where I want to buy again is from this level right there, which is 34 or potentially around 3K. So those are the two buy areas. Of course, I still have holdings running, so if this continues to go up, I'm still gonna profit on the market. But of course, I'm looking for some pullbacks in crypto in order to reinvest what I took profit of and then to just continue compounding like this. Okay, so guys, this is how I'm going to wrap up this video. I really hope the audio wasn't annoying and I really hope you stayed up until the end. Thank you so much if you did. Hit the like button, subscribe as well, support the channel. It's been growing amazing, and once I get home, I'm gonna start setting up a little giveaway, start posting more videos as well, and really to try to take it to the next level. Okay, so have an amazing weekend if you're watching this on the weekend, and I wish you an amazing and crushing week ahead of you.